One of our core practices is sharing Christ. We love baptism around here. This is Whit and his mom, Annie. This is quite the story. Most of you know Whit's story, but if you don't, Whit was my barber for 4 years, sat in your chair. Do you want to mention that real quick? Like me sitting in your chair and that little bit of that process?
Doesn't his hair look nice?
This is what and you fixed your hair for the video today, which is...
I did, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Kind of like a car mechanic. My yard is usually full of cars. Yeah, Brad was in my chair for a long time, and I just told him God wasn't real. And he basically said, okay.
And then I just kept asking you questions. For like 4 years, I just sat in his chair, and then his dad... felt like every time I'd walk out of the shop, he'd say, "Don't stop praying for my son. Don't stop praying for my son." And man, like dad to dad, that was just so powerful to me. And of course, 7 years ago, you walked back into the church and, committed your life to Jesus. And now here we sit with your mom. For those that don't know, Whit baptized his mom. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Okay, Annie, you got to walk us through this. Why you were baptized? What led to that moment for you?
Well, 15 years ago, my mother informed me that she did not remember my ever being baptized.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
so you just kind of thought your whole life, oh, I've done that. Good to go?
Yeah. Never even thought about it, actually.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I pondered for a long time because I would different churches, different pastors, different people. Just nothing ever seemed right. And then you mentioned that we were having the baptism on December 31st. Mm-hmm. And I thought, ooh, that sounds interesting. And finally, God hit me with a hammer someday in December, I think it was, and said, why don't you do this? And then a second hammer and said, why don't you have Whit baptize you?
Okay, let's talk about this for a moment. Whit, how can you describe this moment of baptizing your mom? This
is one of the most emotional experiences I've ever had. This is up there next to meeting my firstborn.
Wow.
Or seeing my wife for the first time. It was on that level.
Yeah. How about for you, Annie? One of our practices here is that, you can have somebody baptize you and have your son. Try to describe that for us.
I'm a very practical person. So I was thinking about, okay, I got to get down these stairs.
Without falling.
Without falling. I have to stay calm. I think that was completely on my mind, and I knew it was there. Thank goodness he was there.
Yeah.
I'd say the most emotional time was just looking at him, and I was just focused on him. I was like, okay, this is happening. We can get through this. And then he kissed me on the forehead. Okay.
Yes. Okay. What a moment. Thank you both for sharing that moment with us. We're so proud of you guys.
Thank you.